Okay, I think we are all set to go live. I'll just check once if we are audible and visible to everyone. Hi everyone, can you hear me? Can you say hi to everyone so that they can confirm if they can
Hi,
hear me as well?
everybody. Thank you, Shweta, for having me. I hope people
Thank you
can
so
hear
much,
me.
ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
guys, please let us know if you are able to hear us and see us. Then I'm going to formally introduce ma'am and also welcome her to the live session. I'm just waiting for everyone to confirm and then we'll just talk in detail about everything they want to know about MBA. Okay, so we got one yes. Meet has said that he can hear us and see us. Guys, can you all confirm? Can you write a yes or a hello or a hi? Just to let us know if we are visible as well as audible. Okay, I got Ankan ka hello. Oh, there are a couple of people. Now there are so many people joining in. So a lot of people are excited about this session.
great.
Okay, Shivam is saying yes. Gaurav is saying the voice is breaking. Can you all confirm? Is it only for Gaurav or is it for everyone? Zad is saying hello. Gurmeet is saying hi. Hi. Okay, a lot of people are saying hi and yes now. So I think we are audible as well as visible. So I think for some people there seems to be a lag. Guys, if you are able to hear us and see us, just write yes. Majority of you are saying that we are audible. So I'm going to go with the majority. If you're not, then just let us know. Okay. Everybody
Yeah,
has
it's
now
all about
confirmed.
majority now, no, in the next few days.
Hmm.
With all the results awaited, election results, and so many other results.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
Everybody is now confirmed. There are a lot of people in the session. So
Okay.
I'm going to firstly officially welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in and being here with all of us. We finally have an authority who can talk about B-School's MBA in 2024 from the perspective of seeing so many students who have already graduated, are currently going to graduate, doing their internships. So you have that eagle's view that we don't have. So would like to officially welcome you to the session and would also like to tell everyone about you. So Professor Dr. Deepa Dixit is here with us. She's the Senior Associate Dean at Welingkar, which is now called as WeSchool. So Welingkar Institute of Management has a legacy of many, many years. So we all know that currently that B School season is going on, wherein the admissions are awaited. A lot of students are excited to join the B schools, but at the same time, there are these doubts in their minds, and we are going to address the biggest elephant in the room very soon. So, ma'am is here on behalf of the entire B school fraternity, and she's going to help us with that eagle's view of whether or not you should be doing an MBA in 2024 and who exactly should be doing it. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for being here with all of us today.
Thank you, Shweta, for having me over, and good evening to all the students who have joined in today.
So,
I'm glad to
guys,
be here.
thank you, ma'am. Guys, thank you to all of you as well. It's 8 o'clock, pretty late at night, but I'm sure that you're already writing in the chat box that you're going to be like you're going to ask a lot of questions and you're very excited about the session. We are also very excited to receive your questions. So anything and everything that you want to ask, keep adding it to the chat box. If anyone of you wants to know about V School and its admission criteria या कोई भी particular detail related to V School, then we have already made a dedicated video. So I am going to link it in the description. You can go and watch that as well. Plus their application link is currently added to the description. I will also add it to the pinned comment after the session is over. So these were two tiny details that I wanted to share before we begin. So, ma'am, there are almost 150 students here in the chat box live watching this as well as they are ready with their questions. So, I am going to ask the most popular question on their behalf, which is what is the scenario of MBA right now in 2024? According to you, how does the job market look like, and whether MBA is the right decision for the students at this moment?
So, Shweta, while we were talking and we were catching up a little 5 minutes before we began the session, we were looking at what is the temperature in your city, my city. And I went to the phone and I said, what's the temperature in Mumbai now? And it said 31 degrees C, but feels like 40. Okay. So that kind of describes the scenario today in a B school. Because everybody is, there is a lot happening, and students are, looking at the kind of placements that are happening, which is what most students want to know about. Whether this is the right time to do an MBA, should I do an MBA? So, one question which we all need to answer is, okay, if not an MBA, what is your plan B? So if plan A is doing an MBA, tell me what is your plan B. If you have a plan B, okay, evaluate it with what you have on hand today. Because if you're going to embark on an MBA now, you're only going to graduate after 2 years. All right. And post 2 years, I don't know what's going to happen around the world, but certainly there could be, some kind of an improvement, because right now the scenario is such that it's so volatile. It's difficult for world leaders to predict what is going to happen. So between Shweta and me, we have only visibility to certain things. But what I can tell you for sure is I chose that 31 degrees C feels like 40 with deliberately, because inside a B school, and every B school, including Welingkar, I'm telling you, all the good B schools also, this year have admittedly said that placements have been a little bit of a struggle. Why has that happened? If the IIMs have said it, there's news in the IIT about the IITs, all the A-listers, good B schools have said it. What does this really signal for people who want to do an MBA? That an MBA is no more a ticket to Disney World, where you're going to go and somebody is going to do the song and dance and you're going to enjoy and just come out of it. It's not an experience. It is an experiential learning where you have to actively participate. Does any of the good B schools say that none of our students are participated or companies are not coming? Absolutely not. So you will find a small quartile of the class which is struggling. And at least from whatever we have spoken to other B schools, colleague B schools, to ask what is the challenge, what is it that is really happening. So if the business school is good, like in Welingkar, I can certainly say, and I'm sure it's true for some other business schools, companies are still coming, wanting to recruit. But now we have to become smart. We have to understand what is it that the company is offering. Will it offer the same thing when it's hunky dory? Like 2 years back, engineers had 4 jobs in their hands with 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x package. That's not the scene today. Uh,
Correct.
Industry has changed, so you can't expect the same scenario. We are not living in a vacuum, guys. When you say business, MBA, business management, we are going to get into the business world. So if businesses are affected, we will be affected. And if businesses have to survive, they have to become innovative, they have to become smarter, they have to look at new options. Similarly, students have to become that. So you may have thought of working in an XYZ sector and you're a fresher. But today, maybe that sector is not recruiting that much. What is happening in reality on campus? All the companies which came last year, almost everybody has come this year also. And I think every other B school will also vouch, barring a few. The Amazons have come to Welingkar, the banks have come, the consulting companies have come, the Bloombergs have come, okay? But in some sectors where they've recruited, say, 25 people in the past, this year they may be recruiting 15 to 20 people. So the numbers have gone down, which is why this last quartile has got affected.
Got
And this
it.
has happened in all B schools, in all honesty. So are they getting out of the pipeline? Yes, slowly but surely. But one or two things which I will certainly, want to put out here is, don't be too picky about what should be my profile, what should be the company, because when the going is tough for freshers, please get into the market. Use this as an experiential learning where you go there and you get to know how an organization functions rather than sitting at home just waiting. Even if you want to get into a startup or any other company which gives you an exposure, don't bother too much about payment because you'll have a tough time explaining. Imagine, you're sitting at home looking for another job. And for the next, I hope aisa na ho, but for the next 6 to 8 months, what you want doesn't come your way. After 6 to 8 months, when you go for an interview when the market's open, let us say, what is your explanation going to be? That I was waiting for the best job to come my way. So which means for 6 to 8 months, I'm very ready to be unproductive. I think that attitude is what needs to change. So is the market tough? Yes. Has it affected B schools? Certainly it has affected. But the good ones are lesser affected. The movement is a little slow. So when the engine is moving a little slow, everything else will slow down a little bit. That's what has happened. But should I do MBA? Most certainly yes. Because at the moment, um, skills, uh, whether it is on the job work, business acumen, all of this, what is required in the business world is currently packaged in an MBA program. I don't see that happening in any other program. If you're an engineer, you're an AI expert and you have a lot of knowledge in that area and you're getting an opportunity over there, by all means go there. Don't do MBA. That's why I said if you have a plan B, evaluate it vis-a-vis what an MBA does and where you want to be a few years later.
So, ma'am,
Otherwise, take that plan B.
this what you're saying, plan B, makes complete sense. In fact, if I just look at the comments which are coming in the chat box, most of them are saying the same thing that, our plan B is this, should we do an MBA? So let me give you a couple of scenarios and help us understand. I'm going to give you
Sure.
scenarios basis their perspective. So let's start off with the most affected category, in my opinion, which is freshers. Assume that I am a fresher, I'm in my final year. There are two plans. Plan A, doing an MBA. Plan B, let's say gap year. I'll be taking a gap of 1 year. I'll be preparing for CAT exam the next year and taking the exam and going to join a B school in 2025 rather than in 2024. What is a better decision for me? Should I do an MBA right away or should I wait for another year and do it then? Assuming that it will be a gap, I'll not be doing a job for 1 year.
Understood. So if you're not getting into a good business school or by their own standards, whatever they call as good, bad, ugly, if you're not satisfied with that, take that gap year and study. Okay? And explain it. Say that I did not want to, compromise on the kind of B school that I get into. So I decided to put it into full-time preparation. And then make your next result worth it.
That's a given.
Okay, that is again, like rolling the dice. It can be anything. This is so my approach would have been this. If it is, a B school that is not even going to help me inch ahead in my career, then I will not take that. I will see that as a risk. So I will not do it. So you can also say that that would have been too risky. I decided. Next year again, suppose you get the same B school. Now you want to take it or similar lines. So you say now wasting time would be would be less productive for me. How many times are you going to roll the dice? By dice, I mean your CAT or whatever exam, CMAT or
Absolutely.
whatever it is. So you can give it a year, give it your best shot, and then later on you make the wisest choice. I think a year gap is okay as long as you are preparing for those exams. More than that, see, gap year, when people look at it a little negatively, is there are some students who have many gaps. They're like on a hula hoop in their education uh, because the effort is not there. So there it becomes a little bit of a challenge because companies then don't look at these people as serious players.
Okay. Okay, so I think here I am going to pick up Khushi's question because she is mentioning that she already has 1 year's gap. So let us assume that to be scenario number two, where someone is already in a gap year, they took the CAT exam, they're getting a certain B school. Let's say they're getting Welingkar. Now they have a choice to join Welingkar or to maybe appear for the CAT exam the next year, which is 2 years gap. So what should they
Right.
do then?
If you are Wellinker, take it. Yeah, because I can certainly say that there will be a good opportunity for you. I'm not even asking you which program or which campus because I'm confident of all of them. And this is no marketing talk. I know what we are doing in the background to make all this happen for students. The faculty is already, you can call it the war room, wondering what all they can do to make the next batch more ready. And you will to be 2 batches later. I mean, one more year later, you will graduate.
Hmm.
Start. Let us say, you decide not to go for that B school. Will that be treated as a bad decision? In this case, I will say that you try to take some kind of an internship along with your studies. Okay, because that will help you in enhancing your profile also. And tomorrow, you will understand the difficulties or the advantages of working in an organization, small or big, whatever it might be. You will be a little more mature person, and that will help you both in your interviews for a B school, explaining your case when asked why you took so much of a gap. And also tomorrow, when you go into the world of work, and I think you will also become more mature to take a stronger decision. Should you have a similar situation in the third year also? मतलब 2 years gap, तीसरे साल में भी.
Hmm. Correct.
So that is what I will recommend. That take up some internship. Don't only dedicate to CAT preparation.
And ma'am, scenario number three, which is the final scenario, somebody is already in a job. Let's say they're getting X salary. Maybe their reason of doing an MBA is to switch their field. They don't want to be in that core engineering field or core commerce field that they're in currently. They want to switch it to a managerial position now. So, in that case, should that individual consider sticking in the job for a little longer, given the market situation, or doing an MBA? I know I'm asking very generalized questions.
No, no. So I had a student. We used to do the executive management program a few years back, 1.5 year program. And this person was from the IT sector and wanted to get into the banking field. And he had 9 years of experience, mind you, in the IT sector. So he said, and he was at a certain seniority level. So he said, when I get into the banking sector, will I get the same seniority level? So I said, yeah, why not? We'll invite Sachin Tendulkar to captain our football team. He is the god of cricket, no? He can play any game. This is also a ball, that is also a ball. There is a field here, there is a field there. Okay, there is audience here, there is prize money here. क्या फर्क है? Hands and legs तो use करना है in both. So he was like, no, why not? I have so much maturity, so much experience. I said, yeah, but it's a different game altogether.
Hmm.
So he then the next question was, doing what you're doing, what are the chances that you will get to make the shift from your current sector to the other sector? For example, if you put your resume on the, um, on one of these recruitment portals or go to a consultant, what are the chances that they will be able to help you make that shift also in the sector?
Hmm.
If they can help you make the shift in the sector, go for it.
That's generally
If they
not
It
like.
is not possible.
Hmm.
So for you to make that shift in sector, you need a pit stop. And that pit stop is an MBA program for you. So if you
Correct.
have experience and you want to really shift sectors and you are somewhere under 4 years of experience, please use the pit stop now. Because more than 3, 4 years in fund sector and then using a pit stop, then I recommend you go for an executive MBA
Exactly.
program and not a 2 year
Absolutely.
full-time program. Okay.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
be
Very
very
well said,
practical
ma'am.
about things. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was recently talking to one of our professors from IIM Ahmedabad, and he was mentioning the same thing. The executive program at IIM Ahmedabad generally has work ex of more than 8 years. So he was
Yeah,
mentioning that now what's happening is a lot of people in the PGP program, they're coming in with an experience of 5 years and 6 years, and we're telling them not to come for PGP and instead wait for a few more years and go for executive because their expectations are not aligned with the placements that are being offered
absolutely.
in PGP.
Completely.
Ma'am,
Agree.
regarding this expectation part, because I'm seeing a lot of questions from freshers. So I want you to help them understand that when they're a fresher versus when they're a working professional, what should be their expectation during the B school journey and also during placements. So from your experience of seeing so many freshers and working professionals at Welingkar, what would you suggest them? How do their experiences differ, and accordingly, what should they be doing before they join a B school?
Shweta, if I place a bottle of water and a bottle of any soft drink of your choice, say Coke for the time being, which one would you pick at the moment?
Me being the person who doesn't make very healthy choices might go for the soft drink, but the healthier ones might go for
Correct.
the
So
water
let's say
drink.
you go for the Coke, okay, and but will you be able to keep on drinking Coke for the rest of
No,
the right? At
can't.
some point, you will stop and you will say, "No, I need water. I don't want Coke." So there is a market for water and Coke. Now, whether you call who Coke and who water, that is immaterial. Let us say for sake of because there are added sugars in Coke, let's call the experienced guys as Coke. But you need a set of fresh eyes also. And
Hmm.
without water, Coke cannot be made. And without Coke, water will not have a market. So I think the long story short, as far as I will start reverse.
Hmm.
When companies come for placements, they know what they are wanting uh, to pick from different campuses. So experience makes a difference if largely you have uh, relatable or valid work experience. So they
Okay.
are looking for a certain role. See, people look for roles, guys. So if they're looking at a customer success kind of a role and your experience has contributed to that, then there is value for it. If you're getting into the financial sector and you have experience either in that sector or in the role, whatever that role demands, dealing with HNIs or whatever it might be, then there is value for that work experience. So work experience is not just I worked in one company and I have spent 3 years over there. No, that has value, but it will have a limited value. Also experience what kind of role, what did you do there, what all that matters. So lateral placements are not very easy.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you work for 2 years in the banking sector and then you do an MBA and do an MBA finance or marketing and want to get into banking, then certainly you will have an edge, no doubt about it, and rightfully so. If you're a CEO, would you not pick that person? You would. But will you pick only those kind of people? No, you will also pick the water bottles. You will pick people who will come with a completely clean slate approach. So you don't have to get scared. Freshers don't have to get scared.
Hmm.
Okay. In fact, the person some years back we had a contest, where we gave some money to students and said you have to go and start your own business just one day. You have to make some money and come back. You can't steal and do unethical things, but you have to do that and come back. So almost everybody made money and came back. Then next round we gave them 10,000 rupees. Few people who had done very well. And we said, now you go and come back. Now hardly anybody made money because your starting point is 10,001.
Hmm.
Earlier, your starting point, even if you make 1 rupee, it's profit.
Yeah.
So as a fresher, you have that advantage.
Hmm.
As a
Correct.
person with work ex, let's say he or she has left her job at 6-7 lakhs or 8 lakhs, what only above that they'll say, oh, this was value. For you, I'm not saying anything, but you're
You
at a
don't
less
have that
risk.
benchmark.
Yeah, you're at a zero start point. So you're at a lesser risk situation. Okay, so you have your pros and you have your cons for both. But there is place for both, Coke and water. Don't worry.
Perfect, ma'am. Ma'am, there is this one question that I would directly want to ask, because I really love this about you, that you're very transparent with the students. You wouldn't want them to be making the wrong choice. It's about their
Not at
career.
all.
So would really want to understand that, in a B school like Welingkar, where there are diverse programs, there are different specializations. Plus, you also offer umbrella placements, which means
Yeah.
irrespective of the program you're in, you can sit for the placements for the companies that allow the different kinds of
Yes.
profiles to sit.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
a question that might come to a student's mind is that there are so many students, although there are so many companies as well, but my chances of being recruited, how do they look like in a market like this? Now, we
Hmm.
all know that even though the recruiters are coming, they are still hiring in fewer numbers. So, in
Yeah.
that case, what is exactly happening behind the scenes that can assure them that if they join Wellinger or any other B school of the same status, they are going to be in safe hands? Firstly, what is happening in the background? And secondly, what can they do to improve their own chances? Because you mentioned that they also have to put in that extra effort, and that skill development has to come from their side as well.
Absolutely. So I'll go step by step.
Sure.
When you're talking about umbrella placements at Wellinkar, let's say there is a company and we are completely driven by the company. Okay. So if the company is open to taking all programs and we do pitch, we do tell them that, see, if this student is from PGDM rural, or the student is from RBA, or the student is from media entertainment, these are the courses which they've had. Let me take rural and RBA or e-business for that matter. Now, in e-business, RBA or PG core, the student's favorite, there are specializations. In rural, there are pathways, you can say. There are courses which they take on rural management, and there are also courses which they take on finance and banking areas. And so when a bank comes to campus, although banking is not the only sector, I'm talking more on banking today. Just a coincidence, guys. I've never worked with any bank. So when they come to campus, they're open taking people, but for different reasons. Okay. They're saying, okay, this role requires an aptitude of understanding financial products.
Okay.
If you can display that and you have a background of management education, I don't care which program you're from. Okay. So they will recruit you. Now, in that room, you will be sitting with your peer somebody has done more courses on finance than you have done because you're from a different course. So if you're really passionate that you want to get into that sector, this is where the part which Shweta asked, it's your job and your role to go beyond the curriculum. So you have to read a lot more. Read books related to your concepts related to that particular sector. Be aware of what are the changes that are happening in that sector. Don't say, I did not have this course in my curriculum. Okay, if you're going to do that, then you can go back to school. So the real world doesn't work like that. You want to get into a sector, you have to be aware. You have to know the jargon, you have to know the acronyms, you have to know what is happening in that sector, who recently grew, who recently fell, what are the new government policies. So you have to be updated. No faculty is going to spoon feed you to do this, although we do alert them on these things. I will tell you what are the things which we do to torment their life here at Wellinger. But you have to do this part. You cannot say that student had 4 more courses and therefore he knows more about microfinance. If that is an area of your interest, you make it your business to know it. Okay, so this part is very important. Companies are open. We have had students from different programs recruited by the same company for the same profile with the same package also. So
Okay.
does it happen in reality? Yes, it does. Okay. So if you go to the Welingkar site, you will find the name of some banks or some companies which are repetitions across programs. That
Programs.
is
Yes.
because they have recruited across programs.
Got it. I think
Sometimes
one of
they may have roles which are slightly different. Okay. And therefore, they'll say for these roles, we want, suppose it is analysis and analytics related, in depth. So they will look for people who have understanding of programming, who have done all that, plus has got some knowledge of finance. So there they will be more picky. Okay. So that is how we deal with umbrella placements or program specific placements. What
got it.
does Wellinger do? Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to say something, Shweta?
I was actually going to mention, I'm not sure if this is a Wellinkar student, but Zeba Rahman is mentioning that she's from rural and working with IT consultancy, and even had an offer from one of the big fours. So saying the same
Okay.
thing when it happens.
Yeah. So thank you, Ziba, for endorsing my honesty.
Ma'am, you were mentioning about the background work at Wellinkar
Yeah.
that's happening.
So at Welingkar, the moment a student comes in, especially for freshers, and equally for people with work experience, there is a what we might call a foundation program or an immersion program.
Hmm.
So this is like for those of you who have no exposure to the world of work, it is an immersion where you get to know exactly what leaders are. So we call them, they talk to you. We actually take them to the companies also, Shweta. So if it's rural, we take them to certain organizations right on day one, matlab in the first 21 days.
Okay.
Okay? Because this is going to be the kind of place that you're going to work from. And or this is the kind of people that you're going to see around you. And these are the kind of expectations organizations have from you. And we also tell them, so wherever you are, this is where you're going to be. So now you have to map your journey. Okay. For people with experience, they have to do some unlearning. So they'll come to know that earlier they may have been an engineer, historian, whoever they were accepted in X way. Okay. But now that you're wearing that MBA hat, what do people expect from you? That is something that they will learn. They may have met other MBAs at their workplace, especially if they are from the IT sector. They would have surely met other MBAs and they would know the kind of difference that happens at workplace. But this is like a first-hand feel of that. The other thing that we do is we have a detailed assessment center process. So, and we also work with an organization called SHL, where we do an analysis of the students' capabilities in many areas. Business acumen, comprehension, communication, confidence, you name it, all the things that are required to groom yourself, we assess them. And this assessment is not done with the intention of punishing the students. The assessment is done to showcase it to you and say, look, now you have to work stronger in these areas. These are your strengths. Make them your, superhero kind of qualities. And these are your areas where you could, these could be your kryptonites or areas where you're going to face difficulty. Now is the time when you start working on them. And there is a faculty mentor allotted to every student.
Okay.
Every student, no exception. So one faculty usually mentors about 10 students.
Okay. So they'll
So
be
that
throughout
gives
in their journey.
throughout. So you get an opportunity that's your go-to person.
Okay.
So, I always see the graph of students, class 10, class 12, and then graduation and whatever. But across, whether they are from IIM or any other school, and I think I can, lay a bet on this. After 10, the average, there is a drop in
There
12th.
is.
Because in 12th, from a cocooned world where people cared about what you did and asked you, how are you doing? Have you done your work? Suddenly in 12th, you're in a slightly more open environment, college, you suddenly become a kind of adult, not fully there, and nobody is bothered finding out what you're doing. And you are too free and trying to explore things. And at that time, somebody is conducting an exam. So what's going to happen? You're going to do not so well. So traditionally, the graph looks like this. Then sense hits you, and then in graduation, you suddenly say, "Oh my God, I've fallen. I better make up." And slowly, you start rising again. So similarly, when you come to a B school, you feel like you have landed at the plushest air base. All of us feel like female Tom Cruise, male Tom Cruise, whatever. We feel like we are Air Force One, and we are going to conquer the world. But hey, hello, just wearing that is not going to be enough. You're going to need a navigator. That navigator is your faculty.
Hmm.
Whether the more life they make, the more they make your life miserable, the better is the quality of your navigation. If they act,
Right.
so that's the base rule here, and that is something we take very seriously, and that has helped a lot of students because we ask, did you do it? You said you're going to do it. You said you'll read this. Did you do it? So like, almost like a nag, but there's somebody in that voice which is talking to you and not just asking you questions. We guide them on what they could do to better if they're having difficulties. So I think that makes a huge difference. Then we have live projects. So this is one thing which I tell all Welingkar students who come in as freshers. No student is a fresher by the time they reach second year. Because summer internship is one thing, but we also have something called the Global Citizen Leader Program, which is in trimester 2 and 3. These are all live projects which the companies throw. And they are all really serious people. They want outcome from those projects. They are planning to use it in their business. And they will have meetings with you like this on YouTube and Zoom and whatever it is. And they will ask you very tough questions. So you're not going to be that fresh kid who came into the B school. You're going to be boxed, you're going to be encouraged, everything is going to happen with you. And you will have that experiential learning by the time you're sitting in front of that company, ready to be placed into the world of. So these three, four big nuggets, and there are many, many other initiatives. We have these roundtable conferences where the students have to present to experts on what they think about that sector. So you can imagine, people, let us say from the FMCG sector are sitting there and you're telling them what you are seeing in the future. They are not
Hmm.
going to just listen, right? They're going to ask you many things. So I think all that strengthens the students and helps them in the long run.
Correct. And ma'am, if I can add from very limited experience that I had after graduating and also during those 2 years, I've seen that a lot of people don't know the inside reality of a B school. So I'll tell you
Yeah.
what happens in a B school. So it might seem like we've gotten into a top B school and our life is sorted. And mind you, I'm also talking about the IIMs here. It used to
Yes.
happen at IIM Ahmedabad as well that once you join, it's not like you're going to sit for a company and they are going to be like, "Wah, IIM wale, chalo inko fatafat le lete." And that doesn't happen anywhere. You're supposed to,
No.
if let's say you're going to get into marketing, which is where I entered, you're supposed to read cases, you're supposed to solve multiple guesstimates, you have to practice GDs with your batchmates. There are mentors allotted, there are your seniors who will take your interviews. They prepare you like anything, but the major effort has to be on your part. And like ma'am mentioned, there's always a quartile or a segment of the batch which struggles to get placed even at the IIMs. During our time, when there was no difficulty in the job market, even then, it's difficult for people to get placed because of their own lack of skills or preparation. So that's everywhere. You have to put in the work.
Yeah. Thanks for adding that, Shweta, because I want to bring in one or two quick things that the students need to work, and please work on it from now on only. Whether you get into any school, don't get into any school. If you intend to work anywhere, couple of qualities that you have to it's a must have. Number one, communication skills.
Yes.
Stop this chatting business and talk to people. Okay, please talk. Open your mouth and talk to people. Very, very important, and talk sense. So comprehension, what I find is when students are asked questions, they are not comprehending. Now this can be for two reasons: either they are not attentive, or they have a problem with English language. Okay, I It's not like I have a problem with students who don't know English or put them down, nothing of that sort. But boss, if I'm going to China, I have to learn the language. So if you're doing an MBA, you have to learn the language of teaching. Every faculty in the class is going to talk in English. At the moment, at least, that is the case. 4 years later, what will happen? We will come to it. When 4 years happens, we will deal with it. At the moment, you need it, right? So learn English. If your English is bad, please find ways of learning English. Listen to English music, listen to English songs, read English books, read the paper loudly. Find somebody who can teach you this language well. Very, very, very important. Why? Because whatever you say, you have to have confidence. If you don't have confidence in your language, you may have the best concept in your pocket, but you're not going to be able to sell it at the interview table, boss. One. Number two, if you don't understand what that faculty is teaching, because see, in an MBA program, guys, you're there for, let me say, not full 24 months, 18 to 20 months you're there. I can't teach you English. I can only teach you how to use that language more effectively. I can teach you negotiations. I can't teach you sentence formation. So these kind of things are very important. You may think that, you can talk in Hindi in the class or in an interview. Real businesses में who talks in English? सब लोग तो हिंदी, गुजराती, whatever में बात करते हैं, तमिल में बात करते हैं. That's okay. First, get into that real business. Then you talk into that language. That gatekeeper, no, the interviewer is going to talk to you in Angrezi, English.
Correct.
And before that gatekeeper meets you, this gatekeeper is going to teach you in English and will mark you on English paper. I mean, you have to write and answer everything in that language. So don't mess it up, guys. Okay? That's the rule of the game. If you're going to play cricket, helmet पहनना पड़ेगा. So you have to learn the language. Very, very important. This many people take it very lightly, Shweta. And this is a complaint I'm getting from a lot of other business schools also, that communication is bad. Second thing is this attitude of entitlement. Hey, मैंने cat clear कर लिया. I have cleared cat, so I am the cat. There are so many like you. 2.5 lakh people have given cat. How many are there? About 90 percentile, 20,000 people like you, just you, who have got more than 90. So that attitude of
This is absolutely there. And ma'am, you mentioned these qualities of confidence and also the humility part that you're saying, extremely important, because this is what we saw. So let me please share a very quick experience of
yeah, please
what
do.
happened. So this is, I'm talking about placement scenario, final placements going on our campus. 2020 की बात है ये. Like 2020 start था, I mean the end of 2021. A couple of students were left to be placed on campus, and those students, the major issues that were found in them, our professors later prepared a report, were primarily communication. Number one reason was communication. Many of them were not able to speak very fluently. Others were not able to answer the question because they could not understand the question, which is comprehension. And there was also a set of people, who had confidence issues, which then led to communication gap, because they were not able to speak confidently, they were not able to speak at all. So these were three major problems, which is also what you mentioned, the three qualities that they need to upskill themselves with. So these were the issues. And the entitlement part, this is what one of our professors told us during our classroom setting. He said, if I make a distribution curve, there will be a couple of you who will be towards the end. You have to remember that even though when it comes to all the students or all the candidates of your age across India, you might be still in the top quartile, but here you are at the tail. And when you're at the tail, you have to put in more effort in comparison to the rest of the batch. So that is
100%.
there. Everywhere. This happens everywhere, irrespective of which B school you go to.
Yeah.
And ma'am, what you said about these qualities being a miss in students, I've visited 4 campuses recently, and this is a similar trend and also a complaint from many of the B schools, that the students come in, they say, हमें आपने promise किया था 14 लाख का package, We are
Huh.
not getting it, so it's your fault. To be very honest, I feel like it's on their part as well to put in the effort. The B school doesn't say that we promise 14 lakh. They say that if you come in with a set of skills and the ability to build on those skills and learn, then we can assure that this is the average we offer. So I think that's
Yes.
the entitlement part which is amiss.
Audience is going to, students are going to think we are bashing them up. But guys, uh,
It is the
you know,
reality, no matter
let
how
me not,
bitter.
it is not about bashing you up. I think we should bash you up before you get into the game. The whole idea is, this is a wake up call. So what Shweta and me are saying is, we're not saying everybody is like that, but the people who face difficulties, they don't take these issues as real issues, and they feel it will go away on its own. And if there are 20 people who are very good and I'm just walking with them, I will also pass through. You may sometimes, but you won't be able to sustain. Because see, end of the day, when you get into that organization, it's not a group paycheck. It's an individual paycheck. At some point, you will stand apart and you will be judged. As a faculty, we never give up on students. No faculty ever gives up. They always try. But as industry, their job is not to try. Their job is to judge. So if we tell you in advance that you work on these things, you better work on them. It's not going to. Otherwise, you'll have a very rude shock. And I mean, if you like life like that, then go ahead, be whoever you are. The
Correct.
other thing is, Shweta, a lot of students think that only metros. If I'm in metros, no, I'll get a career growth. Where are you right now? In Chicago? So I think there are people who come from second tier, third tier cities. I always ask them, what is the rent that you pay for your house? You can put it in the chat if you like. What is the rent that you pay for a house in your city? The city that charges the maximum rent in India is Mumbai. And then you will have Delhi and all the other metros. So do the math, guys. If you're a fresher and if you're getting a package and you're getting to be in the second tier city, even if you get a couple of lakhs less, you will get a lot of opportunities. You will get to be the hero because the metro is like where there are 100 people who are all heroes. In the second tier city, there'll be 40 people, but you'll get a lot of exposure
Hmm.
and you will save money and time. Okay. Uh, and normally, people who have worked in multiple markets are the ones who then start getting the growth. So I
Correct.
had a faculty who told me if you're already at the top of the Everest, the only place you go from there is down.
Hmm.
But somewhere in between, if you land, you enjoy the journey up, and you have built that kind of stamina and capability to sustain that weather.
Hmm.
So I will recommend that the other thing that students mess up is, I want to be in Mumbai, I want to be XYZ city, I want only this sector. Just keep your mind open. 2 years after doing your MBA, just keep completely be open-minded. Post that, you will have the right to make up your mind. Just give 2 years of practical,
Hmm.
okay? And that will completely change your future. Go with
Correct.
the flow. Don't be too siloed.
Ma'am, I have a follow-up here. I was recently listening to a couple of podcasts of industry leaders wherein they
Mm.
mentioned that when we entered the preschool, there were only a couple of companies that used to be everyone's dream companies. But once
Yes.
we exited, we realized that majority of the students who went to those companies left within a few months or in fact within a year. So if it was that big of a dream and of so many other people who could not get into that company, why did they leave it so quickly? And that led to a realization when they talked to their peers that people essentially run after each other's preferences, assuming that if they're happy with if X person is running after a company, and we assume that X is probably the topper of the batch, we end up feeling कि हमें तो कुछ नहीं पता. Maybe he knows better. So if X wants something, then maybe if we also target something, we'll be happy.
Yeah.
What I feel is during those 2 years, if a person goes ahead with the mentality that I am going to explore and figure out what my interest is, And if a certain city, if a certain job aligns well with me, I am more than happy. Rather than doing that, they all start putting certain standard benchmarks, and then they all start thinking कि हमें यही चाहिए है वरना हमारी जर्नी एकदम खराब हो जाएगी. That's the mismatch that I feel in a lot of places. Even at IIM, that's what happens. Everyone runs after MBB, consulting, investment banks, as if nothing else exists.
See, which is very true. Not to blame people because homework is less, and
Hmm.
you feel that some people have succeeded, the chances of success are better. So, no problem. But look at it this way, it is many years back now also. The case studies in the class used to be only of those 4 or 5 companies.
Yes. Hmm.
What you teach, if I keep giving you the example of those 4 or 5 companies, if I keep on talking about Amazon, everybody will want to join Amazon. So
Hmm.
I'm not saying Amazon is a bad company, but that's just an example. But there
Correct.
are so many other companies which you may have not heard of.
Hmm.
And that's because I as a faculty have probably not addressed them in the class at times.
Hmm.
But that's where you need to go out and say, who is competing with Amazon? Who is Amazon afraid of? Who are those 4 or 5 new ones? Try to ask a reverse question. So I learned this in another session where they said, think of a bad idea, which is if you want to kill Amazon, which company will you join? Go and find out. If you want to, if you want to beat an XYZ company, who would you join? That way you'll do some homework and you'll find out, hey, the scripts of these companies are growing too. They seem to be giving a tough competition. Do some homework and you will know a lot more organizations where you will be able to function really well and learn and get paid also, and then move to whoever else that you want to move into. This is because of our lack of reading. So, right in the beginning, I said, please read. So, read about other companies. If nothing else, nowadays, one thing that a lot of youngsters are doing, and they can put a yes if they're doing it, is they are all investing in mutual funds because and all these guys have popularized it. So, which stock do you invest in? How do you decide that? You watch the news, right? So, do they're all large caps? No, you have small caps, you have mid caps for different reasons. So, in your life also, there should be small cap, mid cap, large cap. And large cap doesn't have to be your first script. It can be a starting small cap can be a starting script also.
Hmm.
And you have to build your portfolio of knowledge of
Okay.
what do you know, and then you will command things at the large cap. नहीं तो नहीं होगा. Or you might start your own stuff also. You never know.
Hmm. Correct. That's beautiful, ma'am. A very good analogy for them as well. Okay, so what we can do now is this is what we do at the end of every live session. We keep a couple of minutes for the chat to ask questions as a rapid fire round. So they are going to
Okay.
put in the questions, and I'll be asking the question, and the condition is or the constraint is that you'll have to try to answer it within a minute. So the questions will
Okay.
be
Is
pinpointed.
there a coffee hamper at the end of this?
A virtual
Okay.
one, an invisible one, maybe. But
Okay.
uh, okay, so we are going to start off, guys. You can start adding the questions in the chat box. I'm going to forward the questions on your behalf to ma'am, and anything that you want to know about MBA, about Welingkar, especially if you are trying this year to do an MBA, this is your chance, the golden ticket to ask your questions in the chat box. Especially if you're planning on joining WeSchool, Welingkar, then you should definitely ask your questions right now. I'll remind you again that there'll be a pinned comment as well as I will put the link in the description if you still wish to apply. There is a round open. Ma'am, for how many days is it still going to be open?
So it will be open 4 days after the CMAT results are declared. So if the CMAT
Okay,
results are declared on 1st June, it will be open up to 4th of June or
okay,
maybe 5th. Huh.
right. So, guys, if you're still waiting to apply, you can probably come back to the session once the results are announced if you have more clarity
No,
there.
and the link is open now. They can start applying because we opened
Okay,
it on Monday after the CMAT guys put the answer key out.
correct, correct. So the link will be there in the description as of now, and once the session ends, I'll put it in the pinned comment. Okay, so we have lots of questions now. Mm, there is a question that is HR worth it as of now. the field of human resources?
HR can never be not worth it. Whether you're recruiting or whether you're firing, you need HR. And whether you're nurturing, you need HR. So I always call HR as, what do you call? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv.
Mahesh.
You create, you nurture, you destroy, you fire. No, HR is very, very valid today.
Okay.
But you have to have an
Saksham,
aptitude.
oh, Saksham is asking, will Welingkar accept CMAT?
Yeah, we are accepting. Already we have confessed. And we have put the percentile cutoff also. I think it is 85 and 80 and something. There are two bands which we have. 85 is
So
the
for
high.
different programs, there are
Ah,
different cutoffs.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
sure.
That
Um,
is also transparently put. Read it.
okay, okay. Which one is most important factor when which the interviewer sees when interviewing?
So they are looking at authenticity, whether you're being authentic, your ability to articulate and communicate, and problem solve, critical analytical thinking, which is, are you able to understand the problem and solve it?
Okay. Should I choose Welingkar for MBA if I've done BSc Biology?
Yeah, why not? I have done BSc Physics. I chose Linker PGDM and I did marketing.
Oh, yes,
Depends
I
on what you
forgot.
want to do. You don't have to end up only in healthcare. You can do other courses also, but you have to display what you can do.
Okay. Mayuresh has asked something about institutional seats. Something like that exists?
So there will be few which the trust and all look into. So
Okay. Is it worth taking a loan right now to pursue an MBA in finance?
depends who you're taking the loan from. If it's from your parents, completely worth it because they trust you. If it is from a bank, then look at an SBI or something where they give you softer loans. We are on that scholar list. Um, and there you should see, at least I know that Welingkar for a fact is not one of those 20 lakh fee institutes. We are at 14 lakhs, 14 lakhs odd. So manageable fee. Matlab, even if you get 7 lakhs, I'm just saying, not that you will, but even if you get 7 lakhs package in 2 years, your loan at least will be wiped off. So worth
Okay.
it.
Ananta is asking, is general management of worth, so PGDM core versus, let's say, specialized programs, which one should one opt for if they have a choice?
Again, this is that Coke and water question. But okay, see, PGDM core has got 4 specialization. Even RBA and e-business has got these 4 specialization. Even retail has. Okay. Now, business design is about innovation, consulting. So you have to do one matching exercise. It's like almost a Shadi.com version over here. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you are good at doing? And there's a book called Ikigai. Please read it, people.
Yes.
And what is it that you want money for? Okay.
Hmm.
So there can be an entire session on this, but I can only tell you this, that be honest to yourself. Look at things that you like doing because you will have to do this at 3 o'clock in the morning also. So उठ के
Hmm.
करोगे क्या? Then do it. And when in doubt, there are some 8 numbers which we have put up. Call us. We will talk to you about the program. We will even connect you to that faculty, and then you make up your mind. What I find is you first try to identify at least 2 or 3 options. Okay? And then you call. Don't say sub art batao. Then you'll be totally confused.
Hmm. Okay. So do your own homework and then you can talk to them.
Eliminate karo. Things, "Nee, nee, I don't want to do this. Retail is not for me. Or sorry, the faculty retail might just punch me, but XYZ is not for me. So eliminate that and then look at what you really want and do it because you want it, not because, like Shweta said, your best friend has marked PGDM core, to mark kar lo. Not like that. Have your
Okay.
own, be your own self.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am Mansi has asked that if she scored 95 percentile in ATMA May, then what are her chances of getting into Welingkar?
40 marks may say you will get very good marks because 40 marks is only for entrance. Remaining 60, how you are, that you tell me, then I can tell you your chances. Your communication has to be very good. If your academics has to be good, and you should be able to articulate and problem solve, then your chances are good. 95 is a good
Um,
percentage.
Okay. Kunal has said that he's got 99.3. Can I get into Welingkar? Kunal, you have not mentioned which entrance. I don't know what
It
to.
must be ATMA only because today only they have declared their results.
Oh, okay, okay. So
So you can
99.3
apply to
with a.
all the courses, Kunal, and your communication and acads has to be really good. Then you have a chance. Why not?
Okay. Uh, Ma'am, is there anything called MMS over there? Because someone is asking they'll
That
give
is a
more.
2-year full-time Mumbai University course.
Oh, okay. So
Maharashtra
the.
CET exam.
Oh, got it. They're asking which of the two, PGDM versus MMS program.
So it is just to see MMS is same MBA only, but it was
Hmm.
originally under the Mumbai University. So they retained that name of Masters in Management Studies.
Okay. Hmm.
PGDM is under AICT, so it is called PGDM. And at Welingkar, out of the 8 programs that we have, 6 of them have NBA accreditation also. So they
Okay.
all, have equivalence to MBA. So
Hmm.
it is
So,
one and the same. And market
okay.
doesn't see all this tag. At least when they come to Welingkar, nobody tells us, I want MMS, I want
Hmm.
PG. ऐसा कोई नहीं. Nobody.
Okay. Garvita is asking what is the immersion program criteria? Does every course and every person who joins, do all of them get that chance? The immersion program that you mentioned in the beginning.
That see within the campus at first week, whatever happens, that everybody will get an opportunity. If she's talking about global immersion, then you have to apply for example, some students go to Sweden, some students have gone to Japan. Then you have to apply for it, and
Okay.
there might be some 100 students who will apply for it, but we can have an opportunity to send only 10. So that time there'll be some criteria. We'll interview you, and also throughout the year, what all you do, all that is also counted. And
Hmm.
then on that basis, the right students are selected.
Okay. Amit has asked specifically what are the skills required for business analytics. And ma'am, you can stop me when you feel like बहुत हो गया है.
नहीं, business analytics के लिए पहली बात you should be a number cruncher boss. You cannot say I am scared of numbers. And there will be all this R Python which you must have heard about everywhere. My faculty tells me first tell me how good you are in Excel.
Hmm.
Because industry is saying this that people don't know how to use 50% of Excel. R and
Hmm.
Python and all is next level. See, because all these languages or software which is there, please understand by the time you graduate, half of it will become redundant. There will be some new language. But the
Hmm.
core concepts are understanding algorithms, understanding, I would say, um, computational way of thinking. That is very important. You should not be afraid to learn coding. And if you want to go into hardcore RBA, that is your research and business analytics, I know that SQL is something that people get it. But then there are certain other courses, look at our curriculum, they are a little bit technical. So if you want to go hardcore into that, you should be comfortable with all of that. Otherwise, you should not take RBA.
Okay.
And communication is for everybody. You, even if you're going to sit behind a machine the whole day, you still need to have communication skills.
Right. Ma'am, Praveen is asking about the hybrid programs at Welingkar.
That is a
Um,
distance learning program. That's for another, yeah.
okay, got it. Okay, so Kunal was talking about CET and was asking
Ah,
at
yeah.
99.3, you're right.
The cutoff
Um,
at Welingkar is usually in CET for MMS 98 point something something.
okay. Tanmay is asking that I'm waitlisted for eBiz program at Bangalore campus with 75 percentile in CAT. Are there any chances? You can't say that as of now.
No, it is a no because there is a
Oh, it's
cutoff for CAT. I think if is it 75? Yeah, yeah. CAT cutoff for
he's
e-business
also
is
mentioned
Bangalore.
432. I think the waitlist number, he's probably mentioned it as 432.
It is far behind. So if he has
Oh,
met the cutoff, okay, then we would have surely given him some rank, which is
okay,
what he's quoting. But then
okay.
432 is बहुत पीछे, too much, I doubt. Has he given CMAT or something?
Tanmay, let
And
us know if you've given some other
also
exams.
the other thing is, I don't know how well he has done in his interview. So his
Okay,
overall
that,
score also this
yeah,
matters.
correct. I think we've covered. many questions. The questions are always never ending, but
Okay.
we obviously would love to respect your time as well. And the insights have been so beautiful. I also learned a lot of things during this conversation that I would really want to share with the students when I make the videos and when they comment about this question of whether or not they should be doing an MBA. So, would definitely share your insights and quote this video as well. So, any last words for probably the aspirants who are preparing to get into a B school this year? Might be very excited, might be scared as well, given the job market scenario. Anything you would want to share with them?
We are all in the same boat. Everybody is scared and everybody is, whatever. Last words would be don't judge everything too much. Don't, overthink it. Everybody says that, we would like to make our mistakes and learn and all of that, but nobody is ready to risk it. Every time you take a step, there's no guarantee of success. Absolutely no guarantee. Every step you take forward, there is a guarantee of failure. But if you don't take that step, you're not going to move forward.
Hmm.
Even if you fall, you will fall ahead only. So
True.
just focus. So don't be afraid and focus and please put in the work. Just talking about something doesn't mean it is done. You have to work towards it. Put your personal hours of rigor and work. Stay focused, communicate, talk to people, talk to friends, and don't be afraid.
Hmm, correct. Ma'am, I would also like to share something with them because I generally don't conduct live sessions like this. So,
Oh,
guys, I would
okay.
just want to share this one small thing with you and extending the point that ma'am also mentioned. I would really want that if you're going to join a B school in 2024, even if the job market scenario wasn't like this, I would have really wanted you to put in that extra effort. This is the time because when your summer internships, the summer placement will be going on, that's not the only thing that will be happening. There'll be academics, there'll be extracurriculars. You'll have so many things, you'll not even realize how those 2 3 months passed by. So this is the time that you have right now. While you are preparing for interviews, while you are getting your counseling done, confirming your seats, side by side, please work on your skills. Like ma'am mentioned, communication, confidence, all those things are very, very important. And this is the time to build on them. So yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah,
Honestly, like,
great rounding
thank
off.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shweta. I really enjoyed having this conversation and I hope it
Same here,
was
ma'am.
useful for the students. All the best,
Yes, ma'am.
guys. Let's go and
Yes.
own the world.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, ma'am. Thank you guys for joining this live session. Again, reminding you that the link to apply for Welingkar will be there in the description and the pinned comment, and the application form is open. All the very best, guys. Have a good night.